I see you clearly now, Vishnu's champion. A fiery purpose, a victorious stride, a confident voice. Today, you stand my equal. Your actions in the four realms have renewed their spirits. Their hearts beat true today, not with the dead silence of Shesha's destiny, but in the clamor of life and free action. Shesha is weakened and fades away. You have succeeded where even I could not. Lord Vishnu awaits your decision. Choose with your will, as you always have done.
The Apsaras waged a bold war against the Devas, fueled with the rage of past shame and frustration. The siege of Amravati brought great losses to the Apsara army, but the point was made. The Apsaras would never work for the Devas again. Magad's aggression expanded the empire manifold, aided by technological innovations the world had never seen. Bali waited for the right time to strike, attacking when their armies were spread too thin. Empires splintered into numerous factions, each vying for dominance. Kuber and his Yakshas defeated both the Nagas and the Assassins. Patal's great wealth was finally revealed to the world. New Alaka became a glorious city that was open to all, a center of cosmic trade, a beacon of philosophical thought, and home to the most spectacular architecture. Narak was full of the casualties of war. Strength of identity made reform even harder, and even more souls were imprisoned below the freezing ice of Yamalok. Yamaraj himself was furious. His was the original dharma, and this rewrite felt corrupted. The world is reforged in the image of Garuda. Shesha has vanished from mortal souls. Dharma itself is rewritten. The ego is the sweet center, the source of all action. Channel that will, child, for Kali Yuga has not ended, and the source of their corruption remains. Slay this corruption and make your legend immortal.
Can you hear that, child? The din of war is over. The hows of suffering are laid to rest. It is your actions that have brought this peace. When necessary, you have forgiven. When prudent, you have intervened. And when burdened, you have learned to let go. Destiny speaks through you. Garuda has become weak and fades away. Our battle draws to an end. Kali Yuga will be solved not through conflict, but through acceptance. There will be space once more. Only one last step remains. Lord Vishnu awaits your decision. Listen to your inner voice, and you will choose well.
The Apsaras all accepted Shunyata, escaping their material bodies and the subjugation by the Devas. One could feel their dance in the wind, whispers of their voices in the air. But their days of seduction were over. Prithvi was saved from Magad's raging aggression. Bali was eventually overthrown by Angad, who taught the humans and the beasts to coexist as the tribe had for centuries. Patal became a great pool of wisdom, led by the Nagas, who served as oracles, sages, and guides to those who were willing. Mayasur joined the Naga court, building great devices that would spread the word of Shesha throughout the four realms. Kuber and his yakshas vanished without a trace. This loss of ego penetrated even those deep down in Narak. They self-reformed at a rapid pace and were allowed to leave soon after. Narak slowly began to look sparse. As for Yamraj himself, he was furious. His was the original dharma, and this rewrite felt inadequate. The world is reforged in the image of Shesha. Garuda has vanished from mortal souls. Dharma itself is rewritten. The ego a divisive burden, an image not identified with. The goal is to feel at one with the universe, and unity will be needed, for Kali Yuga has not yet come to an end, and the source of their corruption remains. There is yet a darkness that still eludes me. Prevent this corruption, child. Let Shesha's dream become whole.
Dharma is being rewritten. My own children are tearing each other apart, but I am not summoned, and Vishnu gives you this all-important task? Bah! Still, perhaps it is not yet too late. The ways of Shesha and Garuda are not the only ones. There is another path, a difficult one. It is murky and treacherous. Not a single soul will praise you for it. You will be no hero, but you would have saved the essence of this universe. I am Kashyapa, the most ancient of the Saptarishis. Garuda and Shesha are born from the boons I gave to my two wives. I have been in deep meditation for thousands of years, but today my attention broke. It was a gentle tug, a premonition I could not shrug off. And when I learned of Vishnu's task for you, I knew I had to act. Kali Yuga makes them blind and stubborn. They show you only their hatred for one another. Cut their corruption, and you will see they share much. Both are ever curious. Both are righteous and look to improve the world. Both are willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Yet even this is not what matters. Listen closely, child. Their conflict, the turmoil of their opposing values, that is the very essence of life. Each loses meaning without the other. Courage and compassion. Unity and identity, ambition and contentment. They make each other whole. The wise one knows when to accept and when to act. They know when to flow and when they have to row. I propose a difficult path. Choose neither Shesha nor Garuda. Their corruption gets worse with the faith you bestow on them. I will help you battle that corruption. You must sacrifice the power they have given you, but in return, I will help you in the coming battle. I can only guide you. The power to decide lies with you, as Vishnu has commanded. Think carefully, child. A whole era is at stake.
The Apsaras came to the brink of war, but the Devas themselves stood down. Shesha had communed with them in silence, sharing the suffering of the Apsaras and the destruction this conflict would cause. Led by Indra, the Devas offered themselves humbly to the Apsaras. The Apsaras would roam the world freely in all their glory, and they would determine their own purpose. Bali and Kesari forged a grand alliance, joined by the smaller human kingdoms as well as the great beasts of Khandav. With Garuda's aid, they won a great war against Magad's terrible army. Magad's technology was openly shared, and a lasting era of trade and prosperity began. Kuber and the Nagas came to a complex understanding. The wealth of the underworld would be circulated to the other realms, but under the watchful guidance of the Naga court. Mayasura's assassins were employed to deal with tyrants with unchecked power. Narak continued in its role as arbitrator and judge of the value of mortal lives. A new dharma had been written, but its interpretation lay with Yamraj. This was as it should be, and Yamdut saw the faint traces of a smile on his master's face, for possibly the first time in centuries. The living will struggle forever to decide, to accept or strive, to act or refrain, to love or to lead. To deal with this conflict deeply, truly, there can be no higher purpose. This is a universe worth living in. But Kali Yuga has not ended, child. The source of this corruption still remains. Help this newborn world. Slay this corruption. You are more than capable, Realm Walker.